Better turn the microphone on.
Speedway Tavern. Speedway Tavern. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What's the news today? Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay.
Hello.
GA and man
Hello.
here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
So, when I do this diatribe at the beginning of the show, it's usually to spout off about something in the Speedway world that is nutty or stupid or just plain ridiculous. Well, tonight it is nice to be able to say simply, welcome back to the Speedway world, Buxton. We're all going to need coats. Only in Speedway. Good evening and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. We have, as per normal, Chris.
Good evening.
And Matt.
Good evening.
And myself.
Ga.
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 Yeah.
Ga. I like that.
Yeah, I like Ga.
Pantomime villain himself.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Well, there's a lot been happening. I'm just reading some of the comments and we'll get to that. There's been a lot happening in the Speedway world, but I think it's probably a nice place to start is the fact that Buxton are coming back into the Speedway
yeah, it's
world.
great news. Obviously, Buxton are smashing little club. One of those clubs really that did a lot of things to sort of produce riders and then maybe sell them on to profit. And I think the removing of the assets at the time from National League clubs really badly handicapped them. And I think the power struggle with a lot of the clubs, the Cradleys, the Eastbourne, Birmingham era. I think that sort of undermined Buxton a little bit, and so that sort of fell by the wayside. But it's going to be good to see it back. I only went there the once. Unfortunately, it was for a meeting that was abandoned, but I'm certainly intending to go there again this season. I've just got to make sure I pick up a big coat when I go there.
Yes, it's very cold and windy there. It's on the sort of on the top.
It's going to be interesting.
Really.
It's going to be interesting to go for the rides that have never ridden there before, because someone's going to have to point out to them that it's actually on the slope.
It's on a slope. Yeah, you go faster downhill.
I think they're picking up speed, don't they, when they're going into the burn? So.
Pete Clark makes the point. It's a track in a beautiful field.
Yeah, it's a nice part of the world. Really, is a nice part of the world. It's a lovely journey up there.
So we've got on there at the moment Chris Butler and Pete Clark, who some of you will know were the volunteers at Birmingham, and are now the volunteers at Buxton and are helping put the fence up. And that fence looks a little bit.
You're going to be
familiar.
volunteering, or is it a bit too far?
It's too far for me, unfortunately. I mean, I will go down there.
Where is it?
Buxton.
Derbyshire.
That's
in it's in the Peak District, so it's really quite nice
and really cold
part of the world. So
I hope they put something better surface on that track if they can, because I didn't never like the it sort of looked like
cinders, didn't it? Like the old tracks that you saw years ago.
But I mean, it's there, and that's the thing. Chris Butler says it was cold and wet on Sunday. I think it was everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
An old club, is it a club that's been around for a long time, or was around for a long time?
No, I don't know what its history is, but
I think they started around about 95.
Right.
I think.
Okay, that's relatively new then, really, yeah.
95, it ran until 20.
It's one of these clubs that have always been about bringing on new riders, and that's right down Lawrence Rogers Street, of course.
Yeah.
So
obviously Lawrence will be delighted to be sort of still straight back into sport after the departure of Birmingham. So
it feels a little bit strange for me to see all the. I mean, I do recognise some of the track as it was going up, some of the fencing and stuff in it. It's not very. I think I'm pretty sure it's come from Birmingham. They're talking about the air fence. I'm wondering whether that air fence is going to be red and yellow. We'll find out.
Their colours were yellow and black, weren't they? I think Buxton.
Say again, sorry?
I think their colours were yellow and black, weren't they? So
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit sort of Wolverhampton.
just paint over the red. So I think that's the
and take off the red on the tractor because there'll be black and gold underneath that because that came from
Wolverhampton. It did, yeah. So.
But anyway, yeah.
But we certainly wish them well. It's a good positive news story.
It is quite bittersweet for me.
Yeah.
Which I know you would understand. But and I will get down there when I can, just to meet some old friends.
Yep.
Friends, your friends.
Yeah, afraid so. Yeah. I'll explain to you about that later because I know that's a mystery for
They
you.
they don't know he's the friend, but
Okay, Jeff Daniels says thoughts on Woffington back in the GPs. I'm going to take you over to my mate. Matty, you've been a little bit loud on the BSF for once. What have you been saying?
well, I wouldn't say I've been naughty on the BSF. It's a long time since I've been on the BSF, to be fair, but I've just posted this on about 20 minutes before I came in the room. One thing you can never accuse Ty Woffington of is being shy about publicity for himself, and him being back in the GP a year after almost losing his life will undoubtedly generate headlines, at least in the short run. I'd wager that more non-Speedo fans have heard of him than they have of Bartosz Smarslik. On recent form, shouldn't be anywhere near the GP. No title or even GP win since 2018, and his last 3 attempts have seen him finish 8th, 11th and 18th. Plus, by the time the 2026 GP season rolls round, he won't have ridden competitively for the best part of 18 months. It's worth remembering that 20 years ago, the great Tony Rickarton also had a completely unsatisfactory end to a successful World Championship career as well. If he proves us wrong and has a strong season, with a top 6 finish and maybe 1 or 2 wins, brilliant, but the odds are heavily stacked against him.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him coming back at all. If I'm honest, he seemed to be making noises which were more I might be retiring sort of noises, but obviously he's got on a bike and thought, and I still love this.
Yeah.
I guess the flip side of it. I mean, I hope he does well. Obviously, I think we all do. It's good for British Speedway if he does. Well, I don't think he's going to be riding over here, from what I can gather.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised from what I've heard as well. So.
Yeah. But somebody else that possibly was more worthy of that at this point in their career.
Yeah, I think you could certainly say you could say someone like Mikkel Mikkelsen. I think will probably feel a bit hard done by not to have even been put on the reserves list, as far as I'm aware. Anders Thompson is on. Obviously, we've seen Leon Madsen's back in the GP. Michael Jepsen Jensen, who certainly showed in the last Grand Prix that he's more than capable of competing at that level.
And in the Speedway of Nations, he did quite well as well.
He did, yep. So we've got to talk about that at some point as well. So, on the face of it, we'll just have a quick run through the field for next year. So you've got Bartosz Smarslik, Brady Kurtz, Dan Bewley, Freddie Lindgren, Jack Holder, Andrei Lebedevs, Robert Lambert, Max Frick, Jason Doyle, Dominic Cabrera, Leon Madsen, Michael Jepsen Jensen, Patrick Dudek, Casper Verena and Ty Woffington. On the face of it, pretty strong field, I think. I think we've proved the point really. In fact, that there's 3 picks and we've only talked about one of them so far. So
yeah. I've heard a few. I mean, before we talk about that, it still no place for Saifutinov and Laguta, and that's a big omission.
Yeah.
And we need. I think we'll have a chat about that at some point today as well. Whether what's right and proper about that.
Yeah.
So the other 2 picks, of course. I mean, I've heard a few, shall we say, moans about the fact that Doyle's back in.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that?
I think generally last season he had a poor season, didn't he, in the JPs?
Finished fairly
strongly, and let's not forget, of course, the previous year he started very strongly, didn't he? Of course, he had a bad injury, and I think at the time he was injured, he might actually have been leading the series.
I think
admittedly, he was only after about 3 or 4 rounds, but he's been more successful in recent years than Ty has. So
less controversial than
he's not really one that courts headlines, is he? Jason Doyle. Was always a classy rider, so it'd be interesting, of course, to see whether he's back in the UK next year as well. I mean, obviously, we don't know what the structure of the league's going to be like.
No, we don't. That's going to be very interesting this summer. We say that every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course the other one, Max Frick, probably not really a massive surprise.
No, I think he's possibly earned a place with his performances this year.
Doyle was still getting. Don't forget, Doyle
Leicester might disagree after last night.
Doyle was still getting into one or two finals as well during last season. So I mean, I'll obviously say didn't have a great season, but he still shows that he's still proving on his day. He's definitely a rider that can still sort of mix it with them. I don't think he's a realistic contender to win the championship, but he certainly he'll want to be competitive in it, like the other two will as well.
Do we think Brady Kurtz is going to be a challenger next year?
Well, the disadvantage that Kurtz has now is that he's lost that sort of surprise factor, hasn't he? Because everybody knows what to expect of him, and he's going to be under pressure next year because everyone's going to expect him to do exactly the same thing again. I mean, what went against him? We can talk about the sprint races and things like that. What ultimately went against him, of course, was crashing out in Prague, to make the final. That was the one that he missed, and that's come back and beat him in the long run to lose out by a point.
Because very often when people have their second season, they don't do as well as the first season.
It's always the way. We've seen that with riders that have come over and been brilliant the first season, and it's always the second season they find the hardest one.
Robert Lambert's had sort of suffered from that a little bit.
Yeah, second 2 years ago, but really had a poor season last year. Just about managed to hold his place.
But then in the Speedway of Nations, he was pretty good.
He was, and Dan Beardley certainly. Dan Beardley looked very, very fast. Certainly in the
semi-final. Not so much in the final, I don't think, but obviously that was a higher class of calibre of rider that they were up against. But we will talk about that. Congratulations to Australia, by the way. We should say I'm quite pleased for them. Quite happy when Poland doesn't win it because I feel that they have the right to win.
No, they can't win that Speedway Nations, can they? It seems to be the way with Poland that World Cup's fantastic fantastic record in the World Cup. Of course, they won the last World Cup, didn't they? But when they have to race as a team in a proper team situation with two riders there. I personally wouldn't want to be in the same race as a teammate with Barter Smarsley because he's prone to taking his own teammate out, isn't he?
You never know where he's going to go, does he? He makes instant decisions.
He just goes where he wants to on the track, and if somebody's in the way, tough. Yeah. So
I think it's the skill factor he's got. He can make instant decisions and do it. Anyway. Shall we go through some of the shouts that we've got on the shout box? I think you're going to have to go back a even bit further than that. Okay. The fence is red and yellow for Buxton, by the way. Okay. Fred Graham says, "Evening, gents. Waiting for my next Speedway fix with Glasgow Tigers in action in the BSN semi-final at Redcar Sunday, then playoff final against Paul, and we will have a chat about that as well. What a match, by the way, between Glasgow and Edinburgh. What a match.
Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I have seen footage of it. Yes, I mean, proper meeting, wasn't it? Proper great atmosphere as well.
Yeah. Well, it mentions that the playoff semi-final against the Monarchs was sensational with a huge crowd at Ashfield. Proper Scottish derby with a proper speedway, as somebody called Calvin would say.
Yeah. Okay. I just think Edinburgh will look back on that performance in the first leg at Armadale, and they'll think, we let Glasgow off the hook.
Yeah, you called it. Yeah,
they had them on the ropes, didn't they, for a long period of that meeting, and they sort of just took the foot off the gas in the last few heats, and Glasgow just nibbled away at that advantage, and I just came away from that meeting thinking, that they'll probably live to regret that, and they missed out by 2 points in the end. So.
Susan Jordan says, "Bring your coat even in the summer." That's Buxton, and I can vouch for that. I've been there a couple of times, and it's been bright sunshine, and I've been dithering. Brian Reeson says, "Ipswich Witches are in the driving seat after a brilliant performance last night, despite losing Adam Ellison up against the ref as well." I disagree about that. I think the ref actually got those spot on. I agree.
I have seen races awarded after a couple of laps, so it's not a completely new one. It's
it was the It was almost half a lap in front.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
half
Brendan was. There was no way in a million years Brendan was going to get back.
No,
he was going
no.
to pull that one back. I mean, yeah, you could say engine failures and things like that, but even when it actually stopped on the last lap,
However-
you could have an engine failure.
However, I am now going to. I mentioned this about Emil Saifutinov off air. I said I was going to mention something. It's not about Emil Saifutinov as such, but in heat 15, Emil Saifutinov decided he was going to go up the inside. The space was there inside Ryan Douglas.
Yeah.
And he went, I mean, really tight on the inside. And Ryan Douglas was, a couple of bike lengths away from the inside of the curb. And I don't know whether when something went wrong or what happened with Ryan Douglas, but he seemed to slow down and catch his back wheel or something, and he moved in to just where Emil Saifutinov was just about to be.
Yeah.
And Emil Saifutinov went into him and was excluded.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the referee made the right decision under the rules of Speedway.
Yeah.
However, are those rules right? Is that not actually Ryan Douglas's fault? Should he not have given him... In Formula One, it would have been Ryan Douglas's fault because you have to leave. If somebody's there,
to move out the way,
you have to leave them space to be there.
Yeah.
Because you can't just suddenly disappear.
Yeah. Seen it many times all the years I've been watching Speedo. When you think, oh, he's looked for that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Ryan Douglas did look for it. I think he made a mistake.
Yeah. No, Dougie wouldn't.
No. So I'm not saying that anybody's at fault from a rider point of view. There, I just think the rule is wrong, maybe, or that referees need to be a little bit cleverer and more aware of what's going on the track.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we mentioned there. Obviously, I think Ryan Douglas, in fairness, made a mistake, but I think there have been other occasions where I've seen riders who have looked for it, but at the end of the day, the referee, I suppose, has got to second guess what the rider's thinking. So the referee doesn't know whether the rider's looked for that, does he? So,
but if a rider is there and the gap is there, and then the gap's taken away, surely it's the rider taking the gap away that's at fault. I think there certainly is an argument for that. So send an email to the BSBL and they'll ignore it.
So.
Yep. Okay, there's a few more that we need to go up a little bit for. Okay, we've done that one. No, back down. We've done that. And you've gone past
this is
it.
your next one.
No, it isn't. Oh, it is. I beg your pardon. Yeah. Okay, Chris Butler. I'm sorry. To keep up to date with Buxton, follow our social media, Buxton Speedway 2026 on Facebook, Instagram, X, and the YouTube for updates and progress on the renovation work. That'll be £20 for that advert. There you go. Each, yes. Jeff Daniels, Keenan Rue guesting for Ellis on Thursday. That's not a bad.
Well, he knows the track, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's not a bad.
Got to say, it was a very, very professional performance from Ipswich last night against a Leicester team that I thought turned up with completely the wrong attitude. And when you've got Stuart Dixon calling his riders out for being on the mobiles during the meetings, it's not a good sign, I don't think. I mean, they have done well at Ipswich this season, Leicester, but I think a player final is going to be completely different. They'll have definitely wanted a lead to take down to Foxhall.
Yes,
so.
I mean it's never over until the fat lady sings. You never know what's going to happen, as we found out with Adam Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester are 1-5-1 away from levelling the tie, and then, but can't see it.
But they need to turn up.
Yeah.
They need to turn up, and they didn't.
I mean, I've been singing Leicester's praises in recent weeks, but, they did this last season, didn't they? In the play final, they didn't turn up.
They didn't turn up.
A lot of that Leicester team, of course, used to ride for Wolves, and of course they had a habit of not turning up in the semi-finals against Sheffield for 2 or 3 years. So whether it's a mentality thing from some of the Leicester riders,
who knows? A lot of the Ipswich team were ex-Brummies.
Yeah, I mentioned that to my dad. It was almost like a Birmingham Wolves meeting, wasn't it? In some ways.
Pete Clark says, congratulations to Germany for winning Son 2, Speed of Nations 2. Absolutely.
Is that a shock? Is that a shock?
A little bit, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
They do seem to be emerging, though, Germany. They didn't do quite so well in the senior one this year.
Bloodhorn isn't what you would call he's a decent rider, but he's not what you'd call the top tier rider, is he?
Yeah, he's a good little rider though. I do like Norrie.
He puts him. Knows how to put himself about. And the other German rider whose name has gone from my head.
Kai Hülkenberg.
There was somebody else as well, but really,
his name now.
Yeah, but he seemed to have a bit about him, and maybe
Kai McGrath in the senior one, didn't he? So.
Yeah. There you go. Rich Thomas says, and this is his opinion, the ref was awful last night. Thought it was Christine Turnbull. I'd be interested to know what decision you thought he got wrong. I understand why people would be upset at him awarding the race, but actually there was no race at that point.
Yeah,
I think it would have been very unfair, really, on Leicester to rerun it, and then if I forgot that Tom Brennan had won the race.
Calvin Tate was like a dog with a bone for about 10 minutes after that decision, wasn't he? He just didn't want to let it go. So
bless him. So it's a matter of opinion, isn't it? It is a matter of opinion, but I don't.
Yeah. I did hear him commenting when Ryan Douglas was walking off the track after that crash with Ebold. He said, "Well, Ryan Douglas does seem to be limping. Well, he's got a steel shoe on, Calvin. You should know that. You used to ride for 20 odd years."
Yeah.
Most speedo riders limp when they've got the steel shoe on.
Brian Rees in Heat 13. Emil was world class in that race. He came to race yesterday, didn't he? He was on it in a way that he hasn't been.
Is it maybe a coincidence that the Polish playoffs have all been done now?
I just think you're so cynical, he said, nodding his head. Yeah.
I do. They alluded to this in the commentary, didn't they? That there does seem to be an element of Polish clubs putting pressure on their riders around this time of the year when they've got playoffs. So,
okay, Fred Graham says the referee last night did not put the lights on until the riders were on the third lap and Tom Brennan was well behind at the time. Correct decision by the referee.
Mario Holzer was the other German rider, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. It's worth a go for some.
Very interesting headwear, I noticed. Yes. I don't know whether anybody else noticed that. So.
In what way? Sorry.
Yeah, well, it had a word on that wrong with my surname, but
right.
So.
I see. Yeah.
It was actually on the caption as well.
God!
It was quite. It was
lovely.
Oh, that's an interesting piece of headwear.
Well done. I want him in my club. Oh damn, I ain't got one.
Well put, by the way. Yeah, there, Matt.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's not quite 9 o'clock yet, is it? So.
Not quite. We're working towards it. Okay, so we've caught up on all of those. So let's talk about Speedway Nations or last night. Mm-hmm. What should we go with? Speedway Nations.
We'll go with the Speedway Nations first, I think. So,
first of all, from a British point of view, it was a disappointing performance, really. I mean, I don't think you could have faulted Robert Lambert much. He was the better of the two. But
felt a semi-final felt a little bit sort of like a bit of a bullying performance, wasn't it? Really, but against the top nations again, and was it 1984? I think the last time a British team won a major event on foreign soil, which I think was the pairs in '84 at Longego.
Peter Collins and Kenny Carter was Chris Morton.
Wouldn't have been Kenny Carter and Peter Collins then, I don't think so. They weren't exactly the best of friends, I don't think, were they? But. Yeah, so I mean, obviously we've had two great Speedway Nation wins on home soil at Bellevue, but again, I just think it's a competition that hasn't really captured people's imagination. I mean, even for the final with Poland in it, a lot of empty seats there, weren't there? So, but just it's
the only thing I would say is it does make the actual World Cup more important, with it only being 4 years. Everywhere else, 3 years, isn't it? Everywhere else, that's what they do.
Yeah. Although the World Cup obviously we've got a World Cup next year, and it's in Poland again. Well, I know obviously the final's in Poland. It's on a temporary track, of course. It's at the Warsaw track, which is obviously used for the GP. So, World Cup in the same final in the same country that it was for the last one. Thought the idea was to share them out like they do in other sports, but.
Well, Phil Taylor's just brought that up. Poor crowds for the Speedway of Nations, especially the final. What's your thoughts about that, guys? Yeah, I mean...
Well, there's certainly the two semi-finals. There's no Poland involved, so the stadiums were pretty much derelict, weren't they?
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Which doesn't...
Lovely stadium.
And maybe...
Beautiful stadium. Was it purpose-built, was it?
Yes, it is purpose-built.
So this is a double-edged sword, of course. Do we think it's wrong that the nation that's running the thing gets a free go into the final, or do we think they should have to go in the
I think they
semi-final
should
as
go in the
well?
qualifying rounds,
There is a danger to that, of course,
that they don't qualify.
and then you don't get the crowds in there.
Yeah.
So,
But they must have lost a fortune on those two semi-finals because there was virtually nobody in the stadium.
there was, yeah, it was, yeah.
Which,
there was a
yeah,
dog.
for a major event like that, it's not a good look. I don't
No.
think so.
No. Argentina, were they worthy of their inclusion, says Pete Clark. They were Downermen, weren't they?
Yeah.
Is that, Cavati.
Yeah.
They would have done better with. Oh no, he writes for Italy, doesn't he? What
Yes.
am I talking about? The only thing I would say to that is, who would you have put in their place?
Norway looked quite impressive in the
They
first
did,
one,
didn't
didn't
they?
they? They obviously just missed out on the end. So,
They did.
yeah.
David James says, for a reason I don't know, Paul Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because we haven't mentioned them for a while, and he feels that we should. We will be coming on to
Yeah,
that
we will
because
be coming on to the championship final.
And
And we've talked about Paul not having a great season, but I think they're still on course for a treble, aren't they? So,
David James says, why is it Paul Speedway are away in both cup finals? Answers in a postcard. I mean, I presume he means for the first leg.
and the playoff final, I think in the knockout cup final, they're away as well. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
again, is that against Redcar?
Yep.
Redcar.
Which, I mean, that's going to be a real signal for Redcar, isn't it? Because they're going to be down about Paul beating them in the semi-final.
It depends on how they approach it. If they come and say, right, we're going to get the bastards. Excuse me. I
You
said,
can't say that.
what bastards? It's a type of bird.
Yeah, it's okay.
What are you talking about?
That's the Michael Harris of 2013 talking, that is, I think. So. I mean, we will come to that, but we should possibly go now to the Premiership final, which second leg on Thursday. Yeah.
You've got to say, Ipswich have got one hand and another fingertip on that trophy, you would have thought.
You would have thought so. It's going to be. I mean, there was a big crowd at Leicester last night, but it seemed a bit down. Really, the atmosphere. If anything.
Well, they never got going, though, did they?
No.
Really, they never really got going.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, and as I said, Leicester have done well at Ipswich this season. I think they won there earlier in the season, although it was when Ipswich had a few riders missing. So I suppose they've got that, and I'm sure Stuart Dixon will have that Leicester team fired up because he was clearly not happy with some of their riders last night. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those riders aren't riding for Leicester next season, depending on what the structure of the league is. I don't, as I said before, it's not a very good look when you've got riders in the playoff final sitting there on the phones during the meeting. I think people like Peter Adams or Graham Drury would have probably ripped the phone off and thrown it.
I
at the
actually
pits,
thought
wouldn't they?
that was against somebody will get the rule book out, but I actually thought they was not actually allowed to be on the phones.
I was wondering that, actually thinking about it at the time.
So
Yeah.
I know that as a centre greener, if I can call myself that.
Yeah.
That we were told that we shouldn't have our phones out in case we're sending results to betting places and stuff like that.
Well, I know if I'm underperforming at work and my gaffer walks past me and sees me on my phone, I shall get a severe reprimand if I'm not doing my job. So, what's the difference?
So I don't see one, if I'm honest. Brian Reeson says Ipswich will be up for it on Thursday evening in front of a huge crowd supporting the team over the winning line. I mean, all of that is true.
Yeah, they've waited a long time for it, haven't they, Ipswich? Obviously they're...
How many years have we in the past said, Ipswich will win it this year? Ipswich will win.
And it's just never come off. But I think, if it's really now or never, I think, for Ipswich, isn't it? So, but, obviously the all-conquering team of '98, and that was the last time they won the league. So it's been a long time coming for the Witches, but Foxhall will be packed, aren't they? I mean, the Foxhall has had some good crowds this season. Not surprisingly with the strength of the team Ipswich have had, and the results they've had in the previous 3 or 4 seasons. So that place will be packed out, I would have thought, on Thursday for the final, and Ipswich definitely warm favourites.
Okay. Ian Brennan says Paul gave up the second leg for the Knockout Cup to get it moving. The league playoff final, Glasgow finished top, so they get second leg. Paul will have second leg for the BSN series final. So There you go. That's that question answered. And David James says Woffington has no place in SGP after major injuries, and he's shouting about it.
He means
Major injuries is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
First of all, because you could, otherwise you could say the same about Jason Doyle, and then he came and won the damn thing after he had major injuries, if you remember. So that's neither. His previous performances in the Grand Prix leading up to that were poor, and that's
I think since he won the championship, his last championship in 2018, I think he's been in the top 3 once, and that was 2020. And even that season, he never really got anywhere near Smiles League. I don't think he didn't win a Grand Prix.
No, he's just.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you were going to pick a British rider, I think it would have to be him, wouldn't it? I think Tom Brennan's made a lot of progress, but don't think he's anywhere near ready for that level.
Do you not think he might be better than Woffington at this point?
Not at the moment.
No. Yeah, I mean, we've got two British riders in there, so it's not as if we've got dearth of British riders.
Yeah, and certainly one of them is sort of lining himself up in the next few years, I think, to become a big contender to win it. So
I think both of them could do that. Be in that position.
Yeah, I can't help thinking that Robert Lambert needs to come back and race in the UK. I think that would benefit him. Obviously, we had that one season where Bewley didn't ride in the UK, and his form at the top level suffered, didn't it?
Did, yeah.
He's come back to the Grand Prix. He's come back to race in Britain, and obviously third this year. So,
David James points out that Woffington nearly died with 15 broken bones in a coma. Yeah, I understand that. I just don't think that's not the main. For me, that's not the major reason why. I think it's possibly the wrong decision for him to be included. It's the form coming up to it.
Yeah. I've never been totally comfortable with the idea of giving wildcards to riders anyway.
Well, this is the next thing. There is something wrong about that. And that one of the things that I think is wrong about it, but that they never do, is explain why. Why have these riders been picked? What's the reasoning? And that should be done.
You wonder as well how much of this is influenced by sponsors. So,
sorry, Pete Clark has just said, to help any Brummie fans coming to Buxton, someone will be spraying the car park with dust. Thank you for that, Pete.
She's trying to say.
No, as I say, as I say, though, wildcards is something that's never really come to with me. I think wild cards you could say in sort of extreme circumstances. I'm trying to think, was it about 98 when Billy Hamill broke his back in the last Grand Prix and missed out on qualification by points, and he was given a wild card for the following season. That I was on board with, because he clearly was going to re-qualify for the following season. But I mean, I've said many times, the early years of the Grand Prix, the qualification system was top 3 from the Continental Championship, top 3 from the Intercontinental, and then the World Under 21 Championship winner. I thought that was the fairest way to do it. So.
Fair.
How many real contenders are there in SGP? 3 or 4 at the most, said Rich.
Last year there was 2, wasn't there? So.
I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the way it works. Matty Peacock, be interesting to see who the Bears have as a guest tomorrow for Jody Scott, as Darryl Richings has apparently broken his hand. I didn't know that. I hope get well soon, Darryl.
Yeah. Well, I think we ought to start building up to that one now, shouldn't we? The Championship playoffs. So, from the pool perspective, their hopes of a double treble are still very much alive, as a semi-final win over Redcar last weekend took the defending league champions into yet another championship grand final. The Parks were only 6 points ahead after the first leg at Wimborne Road, but they recorded another 6-point win at the Echo Stadium to set up a title showdown with Glasgow. Co-boss Gary Havelock said it was a thoroughly professional performance. We came here and the plan was that we didn't have a 6-point lead. It was the first leg and we were going to try and win the match. We put a lot of importance into starting well, and obviously getting the 5-1 in Heat 2 took the pressure off. To be honest, I wasn't under any pressure or stress all night, and that's a testament to how well the lads rode. It's going to be...
I think it's going to be a good two-leg meeting.
Definitely going to be getting the the stream for that one. That's got the potential to be a cracker. There's been a good rivalry, I think, built up over the last couple of seasons with Glasgow and.
Couldn't have two further clubs from each other.
You couldn't. No, you couldn't. So, yeah, but I mean, Glasgow obviously they won the league a couple of years ago, and they'll really be keen to get it back. And you know, we've saw the atmosphere that they generated for the semi-final. Okay, obviously it was against their local rivals, but they're going to need something similar again, and they're going to want to go. They're going to want to go to into the second leg with a good lead, Glasgow. But that's got the potential to be an absolute cracker. I'm looking forward to watching that one.
Okay, so John Hope says there's any news on Adam Eckes and Adam Ellis, I beg your pardon. David James says, yep, he's got a bad back and it's really sore. So,
yep. He's had a couple of tough few weeks, hasn't he? I think he's a bit battered and bruised anyway going into that. So
yeah.
I did wonder a little bit really whether, I mean, obviously he only had one race. I just wondered whether he was overriding a little bit in that one.
It did look a little bit like that.
Yeah, I mean,
he made a mistake, didn't he? And he was like, "Oh, I'm going to get back at you," sort of.
Yeah.
And he just went too far into
maybe a bit too sort of sulked up for it. So
it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Rich Thomas makes the point that the SGP needs new riders to spark some interest as it's becoming very stale rider-wise. I mean, Brady Kurtz was a breath of fresh air last year, wasn't he? But it's who, you know, it's got who. You can't just do it for the.
Yeah, you can't just keep picking different riders every year. You've got to, you know. So.
I mean, I tell you what would give it a lot of interest. I said it at the beginning, didn't I? Emil Saifutinov and Laguta.
Yeah,
that would give it a lot of interest.
I just wish they could get them back in the series.
Yeah, I don't see why they can't.
No,
it makes no sense to me now because Emil Saifutinov is riding it in Britain.
Yeah, hasn't faced any hostility.
No hostility whatsoever. There's been nothing in the newspapers. Nothing at all. So, yeah.
And I know from when Saifutinov came to Ipswich, came to Wolves when he was riding for Ipswich, there was a massive queue. There's always a lot of people in the pits anyway to getting autographs and chatting with riders. There was a huge queue for Emil, and in fairness to the guy, he talked to every single supporter that he spoke to. So, you know, I mean, obviously you've obviously met him at Birmingham. Really nice guy.
Yes, absolutely.
But you know, obviously a very hard rider on the track, but a lovely guy off it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You said it all, really. Yeah. Plymouth is further from Poole than Glasgow.
It's just slightly, isn't it?
Okay. Geography. It's just geography.
Yeah, Jeff Daniel says the new GP promoters need to change the point scoring system. That's one thing we do need to talk about, of course.
Yes.
The GPs.
What I would like to know is if there's somebody out there that has looked at the points scoring system and done it for the old way of doing it, and whether it would have changed. I bet it would have.
Results.
Possibly
would have done. I bet it would have done. That would be interesting.
My question is why did they change it? Must have been a good reason.
Well, I think they did it because they're trying to do it in line with Formula One. That's what they do. They've copied Formula One.
I'm sure I've read somewhere that there was some talk about the next season the Grand Prix is going to be on Sundays. I'm sure I've seen that somewhere on social media.
I've seen that today somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody out there will know, and will let us know.
I can't see it happening, to be honest, because I think
what would be the point?
Yeah.
And isn't that when the Polish League rides?
Yeah, I don't think the Polish promoters would be too impressed. But,
wasn't it on a Sundays, but except for in this country?
Except for this country, because obviously you got the plan is obviously to have the Saturday and Sunday for the Bellevue Grand Prix. So, but obviously we have overlooked the fact that the Grand Prix is going to have a new sponsor, new global promoter in Mayfield Sports Events Limited. They've reached an agreement with Warner Brothers Discovery Sports and the FIM as the new global promoter of the Grand Prix series until 2031. Warner Brothers remains committed to the sport as the global broadcaster and rights distributor for the next 6 seasons, ensuring the FIM will continue to reach millions of viewers through their channels and platforms such as its streaming services, HBO Max and Discovery Plus in Europe. Meanwhile, Mayfield will assume the role of a global promoter determined to deliver a fan-focused and stable and sustainable future for a full-throttle sport raced on 500cc bikes with no brakes that accelerate faster than a Formula 1 car.
That old legend.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about it. I've been a bit underwhelmed, really, by Warner Brothers' involvement in Speedway.
Yeah.
A lot of it seems to be... Some of it seems to be more about cost-cutting than a lot of other things. I mean, I think the obvious one, of course, is obviously losing Cardiff.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You had one exceptional meeting at Bellevue, but I mean, I didn't go to either of the two Grand Prix. I definitely would have gone to the Cardiff Grand Prix, but just felt like another meeting in a sense. I know that the Bellevue track is obviously far superior to what the Cardiff track was, but I think it's just
it's the atmosphere.
It's everything that goes around it, really.
Yeah.
So and
so we should have a fanfare because we've got a YouTube contributor, and he's remembered to look. Darren Reynolds says, "Evening, chaps. Riders on their phones. Whatever next? Knitting, crochet. If I were a Lions fan, I would be furious. Name and shame them."
Well, to be fair, Darren, I think they probably will name and shame them because they're probably the ones that won't be riding for Leicester next season. So,
got a chance. I mean that's a fair point. If I was a Lions fan, I'd be annoyed.
Very
about
that. So, as I said earlier, I don't think someone like Peter Adams or Graham Drury would have tolerated.
Graham Drury, Jesus.
I don't think the phone. I think the phone would have gone somewhere a bit dark, wouldn't it? If you see one of his riders on a phone during the meetings.
In the oil drum. Yeah. Pete Clark, who are the new GP promoters, have never heard of them. I think hopefully we've already answered that question for
Mayfield
you.
Sports Events Limited. So we'll see what they bring to the party. So.
Nick Skippy Matthews says Saifutinov, Laguta and the under-21 champion should have been the three wild cards. I can't argue with that.
I know obviously they've given a place obviously goes to the European champion. I suppose some ways you could argue that they should go with all the national championships and take the top scoring non-GP rider from each one of them. And
well, do you know what that would do? I mean, you could have what that would do would make those championships very, very important.
Yeah.
Being the British champion would, if that, for instance, got you on a. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
that would make them very, very important meetings for fans and for riders alike.
Yeah.
So I quite like that idea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Graham says they just used the dates from this year for 2026, so the dates all became Sundays. Hilarious from new SGP promoters.
If that's the case, it's not the best of starts, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Okay. Well, the time is coming up to 2:45, so we obviously need to have we have got quite a few fixtures, I think, coming up this week as well. So.
Yeah.
We almost need a show every night.
And we didn't really talk about the championship, but we did a little bit. But who are you going to say? Well, we got the so we'll find out who you're going to say in this, won't we?
Yep.
Okie dokie. I do believe it's me to start this week.
So the first one is the first leg of the Knockout Cup final tomorrow night, and that is Poole against Redcar.
Okay, I will say Poole by 12 points.
I'll say Poole by 8.
Poole by 10.
My gosh. You're saying as if you knew what you was talking about then.
Okay, also in the tomorrow night in the National Development League, it is the Steelers against the Leicester Lion Cubs.
You'll go. We should say well done to the Leicester Lion Clubs, by the way.
Yep.
Go.
Steelers by 4.
I'll go Leicester by 4.
Draw.
We haven't even talked about Sheffield, of course, going up for sale as well. So
I sort of had an inkling that was going to happen about 3 or 4 months ago, but
I heard rumours early in the season. So, okay, so the next one is Ipswich against Leicester in the second leg of the Premiership final on Thursday.
Leicester by 6.
Really. That would take it to it because they're down by 6. Am I right? 4.
So
They would win.
Make it interesting.
Yeah, it would make it interesting. I would love it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I would love it to happen.
But
however, I actually don't think that those riders deserve it after yesterday. So I'm going to say Ipswich by 12 again.
I'm going to say the same thing. Ipswich by 12. I just get the impression really that they'll sort of the lead went out the balloon a little bit with Leicester. So. Okay, so on Friday, the second leg of the cup final in the Championship, it's Redcar against Poole.
Why do I get Redcar Poole every time?
Oh yeah, get your riders a week by the
I'll say Redcar by 4.
I'll say Poole by 8 on that one again.
Okay.
I'll go Redcar by 8.
Okay, we have got the British Under-19 Championship, of course, on Saturday at Workington, so I've got the lineup for that, so we'll go with that. We'll look at that shortly. But then we move to Sunday in the NDL, Bellevue Colts against the Steelers.
Bellevue versus Steelers, that's up to you.
Bellevue by 6.
Bellevue by 10.
I'm going to say Bellevue by 8.
Okay, and straight after that, it's Bellevue against Edinburgh.
Bellevue by 4.
Bellevue by 8 again.
Bellevue by 4, yeah, I'll go for that. Okay, then we've got the BSN Series semi-final, second leg, Redcar against Glasgow. I mean, that's an early season competition. We're in middle of August. We still don't know who the finalists are yet. So.
Yeah. Well, was it ever thus?
Yeah, Redcar against Glasgow.
Glasgow by 4.
I'll go Redcar by 6.
I'll go Redcar by 4.
Okay,
and that's it.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. So
That's it.
Okay, so let's just have a quick look at the British Under-19 Championship because that obviously is coming up.
Rider of the week, by the way, guys.
Yes, yeah, Rider of the week.
Rider of the week. We've already had.
I'll go for Emil Seifutinov.
I'm going to go Brady Kurtz.
Okay, so working stage the 2025 British Under-19 Championships at the GT Tyres Arena on Saturday, the 11th of October, with Ace Piper defending his title. Piper has been drawn at number 3, and in the opening race of the meeting, we'll see him clash with Luke Harrison, who was the runner-up last year. The lineup includes several riders with significant championship experience, as well as 15-year-olds Cooper Russian, Ryan Ingram, and Charlie Southwick. GP boss Neil Vatty said this is an extremely strong final, and in each heat there will be some great clashes, none more so than Heat 1. So, Sam McKirk has withdrawn from the meeting, so Harry Fletcher moves up into the main lineup with Harrison Rogers coming in as a reserve. So, we'll go with the full lineup then. So, you've got Luke Harrison, Ryan Ingram, Ace Piper, Jamie Etherington, Will Cairns, Ben Trigger, Harry Fletcher, Freddie Hodder, Max Perry, Jody Scott, Cooper Russian, Steen Piper, Vinnie Ford, Charlie Southwick, Geordie Loftus, and Ashton Vale, with Lee Harrison and Harrison Rogers as the reserves.
Would you say Will Carnes is probably the favourite there?
I'd say he was, but
And
I wouldn't rule
Cooper
out.
Russian,
I'd say I
of
wouldn't
course.
rule out Cooper Russian. I was seriously impressed with him when I saw him at Birmingham
Yeah, I was too.
earlier in the season. Freddie Hodder's obviously got quite a bit of experience now as well, so you know.
And then you've got Ryan Ingram.
Ben Trigger. I saw Ben Trigger ride at Birmingham this season, and he was quite
okay,
impressive as
yeah.
well when he rode for Plymouth. So.
Yeah, and you got riders like Ryan Ingram,
Yeah.
who hasn't got the experience, but he's been doing, as Phil Taylor's
15.
been saying,
Yeah.
15 is his rider of the week. Is Ryan Ingram. He's been scored really well at Plymouth for the Centurions and picked up some good points elsewhere as a guest.
Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. So.
David Albrighton says, thought Speedway was a summer sport, season getting longer. Let me tell you about long seasons.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It does seem to have gone on this season.
But you can remember seasons when we had 20 plus teams in the league, 20,
Yeah.
more than that even, and those seasons were long.
Yeah. We didn't have great big long gaps in the fixture list
No,
like
no.
you do now. So
I still
Can
managed
I
to get to the finals.
just need to break up for a minute there, just a very important thing, just obviously on behalf of Speedway Tavern, I did post it during the weekend, just pass on our sincere condolences to the family of Ryan Terry Daly,
Yes.
who passed away obviously at the weekend at the age of just 31. Had ridden in the UK for a decade, racing in the NDL for Mildenhall, Coventry, Stoke, Plymouth and Leicester, and his spell with Leicester in 2019 and was in touring part of the team that lifted the NDL title. He was still racing as well in the UK, in New Zealand as well, even though he wasn't racing in the UK. So, thoughts and condolences with Ryan's family. I did I did interview him a few years ago when I was doing work for Rerun, and really nice guy.
He was quite a tidy rider as well,
yeah,
wasn't he?
he was quite a talented little rider. So,
Jeff Daniels is going for Kurtz as Rider of the Week.
Yep.
Seems to be...
we seem to be even then.
Oh, yeah, we are. We're even.
Have you got a coin?
We're even with...
or have you got Scott Nichols' little gadget that he uses instead of tossing a coin? Really, you've seen that, sir?
I have seen it. I
Yeah.
mean, get a life, Scott.
I think they only did it because he tossed the coin and he lost it.
He lost it, yeah.
So it's it became a bit of a running joke, but
Well, there you go.
Another one for Emil. Yeah.
nobody in British Speedo can toss a coin. Then we've got real problems, haven't we? So
I wondered where you was going there. Okay, so it's been an eventful couple of weeks since you've been away.
Yes.
The next time we see you, we'll be able to do a sort of end of season report, because we're not going to be on air for now for another 2 weeks, I'm afraid, folks. And
It's just been one of them years.
this one's my fault, I'm afraid. But
Because you never used to have any holidays, did you?
No,
And now you just have too many holidays.
yeah, same like you.
Yeah.
It's what having a wife does. I don't have any choice in this.
No, that's great, isn't it?
I just come home and she goes, "We're going on holiday." Oh, where are we going? Oh, okay.
Oh, and by the way, you're paying for it.
No, by the way, you've paid for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's the way that
What's
one
the last 4
works.
digits?
But when we come back after 2 weeks, all the dust will be settled,
we hope,
We
rain
hope.
permitting. So.
and we can sort of say congrats to everybody. We'll have some sort of end of season show and
Yep, and of course
nominations.
we will crown the prediction
Yes.
league winner.
Prediction
we
league
will
winner.
keep putting your predictions over for the next couple of weeks.
Where are we with
I'm
that?
going
Who is
to
we currently have a new leader at the moment, and that's Elliot, who's managed to climb to the
Good
top
God.
now. So, but
could be the only thing the Brummies have won this year.
Is this the...
yes, that is the. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Yes, that's the one. So, Elliot 203, Skippy 201, Andrew Garner 200.
Safe to say, whatever else happens, it's going to go on I think it's going to go somewhere different this year.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon's 8 points behind.
Does this
now,
mean
so-
you've got to make another mug?
Yeah.
No, does this mean you've got to phone Simon and get it back? So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he'll hide.
you can put elastic band over his name and just scribble it out. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so it looks like the mug will be going somewhere else this year.
I'm stopping here. What you want about? Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay.
Only 3 points between that top 4. So 4 points between the top 6 points between the top 6. So
It's not over till the fat lady sings.
I'm looking at those exact scores as well, because that could very well come into play the way things are going, because that is going to be the decider. So
And once again, I could be on top if you pardon the pun.
there's only
of
4
my
points in
case.
it. So you pulled a point back on him last week. So
Well, there you go. Yeah,
I didn't do anything last week. That's why.
you got nil. Yeah, he got 1. You scored 1 point and you finished joint top. So
Did I?
So if you,
Where?
so if you lot are useless predictors.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Shane Rawlins says, "Are the Brummies gone forever?"
Well, we certainly hope they're not.
Hope they're not. I don't know.
I know things are being worked on, but how?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a longer and involved plan for both Birmingham and I think for Wolves as well, really. So I know there's obviously hope at Coventry and hope at Cradley as well. There's obviously a lot of noise being come out in recent months about Cradley. But big hint from Scott Nichols, obviously, talking to John McGuinness last night, he obviously did mention that he's going to ride again next season. So
I will
has
say
that
this.
dropped a hint about the structure of the league? Because
Maybe.
I can't see Scott racing in the top league. But if that's the only league...
Who knows? I mean, he probably doesn't know what's going to happen yet. I don't think anybody actually has sat down and said, well, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, as far as other Brummies gone for forever, I don't know. I do think that Sheffield is significant.
Yeah.
I can't say how, but I feel that is significant. I don't think Sheffield need to worry. I think they're going to be okay. But yeah, we'll see.
Never say never.
No. Well, we thought they'd gone. I got to be honest. I never expected to see them come back when they did in 2007. I thought they'd gone. From in 1984, did we?
86,
was it
yeah.
86? I thought we'd gone then. I thought that was it. There's no way it can be come back.
Yeah. Obviously, somebody else that I know disagreed with
Yes,
this, and of course,
yeah.
got his way in the end.
And
so.
well, I feel
And he's
like
trying again now.
Yeah.
The letters have already started going in, I should point out. So.
Rich Thomas says the show is getting like Speedway long gaps between the shows. Yeah,
Yeah.
We do apologise. And I mean, on a personal note, a lot of that this year was because of there's family problems and stuff that was going on that I'm not going to go into, but that's what happened. So.
We'll end up doing 17 shows this season.
Right.
And we're normally like 24, 25. So,
We have mentioned this before, but we are going to be coming back next season. I've heard a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, I'm going to miss it when you're not doing it next season." Well, we are coming back next season. It's going to be a very different show, obviously, because neither of our clubs are going to be riding. So, but we are going to be sort of able to take more of a holistic view.
And also, we don't know what clubs will be riding. So
Well, that's right.
That's going to make it
and
interesting.
we will at some points round about Christmas or whenever do a show, because we'll find out what's happening about next year, and there'll be a big show about that when that actually happens and we know what's happening. Rich Thompson wants his subscription back. People are subscribing.
Rich. I told you not to mention that.
Brian Reese says hopefully top riders are racing in UK next season. Do you know what? We're at the point where hopefully we've got a league.
Yeah.
We're literally at that point. So there was another little comment a little bit higher up that I did want to have. Nick. Well, I think we'll finish on this one.
Yeah.
So Nick Skippy Matthews had the pleasure of spannering for RTD Thomas Daly at Plymouth, and was a lovely guy both on and off the track.
Yeah.
There you go. I think that's a great place to start. See you guys
in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. Yeah. Have fun, everybody. Bye bye.
Have another lovely holiday. Another holiday.
Another holiday.
Another holiday.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Speedway